It's sad. It's just
It is.
It's real sad because
Emotional.
it's the end. It's the end, at least on a regular visit. It's like, it's when you're breaking up with your junior high sweetheart.
Yeah, it's not me, it's you. No, wait, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
you care. You don't care about me in the off season, basically.
I do care about you in the off season. I do. You know who else cares about you? John Howie State cares about you.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
They care about you. They've always cared about you.
Yes.
No better place to go to than John Howie State.
Come on.
God,
there's our girl.
Oh.
She's waiting for you, Puck.
She is John Howie State.
She's waiting. Hey,
they bring you Brad Adam every single week. Entertain your next clients, family and friends at John Howie Steak. They've got the best dining experience in the city. Visit johnhowiesteak.com, and I'm going to eventually find out that woman's name.
Yes, you need to do that. Hey, maybe I can do that tomorrow because
are you going tomorrow?
Anniversary.
Oh, good for you.
Anniversary. Got a table for two.
God.
And when you get reservations online, it's got a box that says, special evening or anything. And I wrote, anniversary, would like to meet John. So let's see. Well, I'll let you know how that goes.
Would like to meet. Would like to meet. Would like to meet John.
Would like to meet John.
And I've got gift cards. A lot of them.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
not sure how much are on this. Yeah, here's 3. I don't know how many is on this. Just take some of here, take some of here in this one, and
just hand them over. Well, it's sad.
John.
It's, boy, if we did all the shows back in June, we would when it was 10 games up. There's no
feeling
way.
Good.
Oh, feeling great.
No way they're missing the.
No way they would blow it. No way they would miss the playoffs. And yet here we are one more time, Brad. How?
Yeah, this one stings a little bit for that reason. For just kind of what you'd hope they would build upon on 22. They didn't make it in 23. You could see it maybe, but this one, man, with the pitching and the lead they had, and with the division being as bad as it is, and look at the Astros bounced, 2 games at home. They're terrible at home, by the way, especially postseason. So this one hurts. I think stings more for the fans and for us, just because everything was lined up for them. It was very disappointing for sure. Yeah.
I mean, this was the year. It was on the platter for them.
Yeah. Not going to get any easier in the West, No,
it was the year. It was right there for them just to take it. Texas had the step back. Oakland's Oakland. But you knew
Angels are Angels.
And the Angels are the Angels. And so you're like, God, here we go. All the injuries to Houston. Back to think about, they played an entire season without one of their best offensive players in Kyle Tucker.
Right.
They still just manage a way to squeeze in all the pitching problems they
had.
Had.
I was going to say, the 2 starters never pitched. Verlander came at the end, and he wasn't very good. They just pieced together. my God, their best pitcher was Yusei Kikuchi.
He was.
My God.
Yeah.
That tells you all you need to know about Yusei.
And they just can't do it. And then you watch a team, and I just reference this all the time. You watch a team that literally waved the white flag at the deadline and traded their second best player, pitcher, and just said, we're done. Yeah,
we're a young team. We're building. Yeah, next year maybe.
We'll be there next year.
Yeah.
Then they got to listen to Mitch Haniger say, we shouldn't lose to them. We're better than them. And then they just go out and, I don't know, they win. They go 32-11 to wrap up the season. And they're the team that knocks them off. They're the team that finally kills them.
Right. And what sweet revenge for A.J. Hinch, right? Former Astros manager, now Tigers manager.
Didn't hit me until watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Last night in the clubhouse when they're spraying the champagne everywhere. I'm like, that's got to be good for him.
Really good for him.
The scapegoat.
And look at that team. They've got the best pitcher in the league, Tarek Skubal, and he was great in game 1. And then what they do yesterday? Bullpen. They have one starter.
That's right. It's
They have
unbelievable.
one starter.
It's going to be fascinating to watch them against Cleveland to what they do.
Exactly.
They're just throwing guys out there and then Hinch is like, this is just what we've got to do. This is where it's at. And people, they all know this is what's going to happen.
Unbelievable. Will Vest closing it out, the former Mariner reliever.
Oh, Willie Vest. Are you like me with Rogers? He's just
porn star.
He's just my spirit animal. I just want to be him. I want all of it.
Yeah,
the whole look, the everything.
Yep, the sub 200 average, but
yeah,
big hits here or there. I mean, just a porn stash.
You know,
leading that
eating hungry man's after the game.
Warming it up in the microwave. He probably didn't even use the oven. Just straight microwave that stuff.
And doesn't even care that the apple crisp is cold inside.
No, doesn't care. No.
But yeah, just disappointing. I'm with you. I think it's it's the most disappointed I've been watching Mariners baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the expectations, because of the pitching staff, and because the division was terrible.
And because the offense just so underperformed. You know, on paper, we always like to say that on paper, you know, in spring, you're like, this offense should be pretty good.
Yeah, you talk yourself into
exactly. You're like,
Polanco. I don't know.
Look at these numbers. These are pretty good.
I mean, he's been injury prone, but God, if he's healthy, there's a lot of ifs. We played
Garver won the World Series last year. I mean, he was cleanup for the Rangers. He's going to hit. Haniger's healthy. He's going to hit.
We did build up Garver as if he was the best player on the Rangers.
We did, didn't we?
In spring training. Yeah,
it's like this guy is going to match. Now, forget the fact that he was like 0 for 24 in his career at T-Mobile Park. Like, we didn't see that coming, right? As he got in.
And then I think – go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that's – you know, with JP having just an injury-prone, miserable season, Julio having his worst season, it's just, you know, if one of those guys – if those two guys had their just average numbers, you know, I would imagine that they're in, right? So –
oh, for sure.
I mean, a lot of what-ifs. I get that. But it's just frustrating – all the way around. I mean, players are frustrated. Everybody's just, you know, a little down.
I think if you're right, 100% right, though. I mean, we can sit there and complain about all the offseason moves and did they do enough,
right?
And the wrong choices. But I mean, your two superstars play like they're supposed to play.
Exactly
how they're paid. Then they're in.
Yep.
And that's a lot of pressure to put on two people, but it's the truth. I mean, it's not even a lot of pressure. Just play to the back of your baseball card.
Right. Yeah.
But I would say that about Julio. With JP, I'm not convinced it's the back of his baseball card. I don't know. I mean, I think it's fair to. I think we talked about this last week. I think it's just fair to wonder if just last year was a one-off. But we'll see. We'll see if he has a bounce back year.
With JP,
he's not going anywhere. So he's your shortstop.
He's your shortstop. The guys around him might change, but he is your shortstop, right?
Well, that's what I did find. Well, let's before I get to there, I want to backtrack because I want to go to Saturday, where we just get the. Yeah, Jerry's going to talk in 15 minutes, guys.
Oh my God!
This is it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, this is it. That's what Divish told me on Wednesday. He said, "When did you find out?" He goes, "What do you mean? Like, when did you find out you're going to talk to him?" He goes, 15 minutes before it happened. I said, "Okay." Yeah. So he goes in there. That's the press conference. They're not going to do the end of the year deal. We've criticized them as much as we can about that decision. When he's going and giving an answer, okay, before I get to what I was going to ask you, the decision to do that, why not just have a formal press conference? Just because of the scar tissue of last year, I would assume.
That's my guess, too. I mean, a great question. I don't know why. I don't know if they had planned that or if Jerry just said, hey, I'm here. I'll just talk now. And then they just were scrambling. I mean, literally just saying, hey, Jerry's going to talk 15. Jerry's going to talk at 15. This, you know, you're walking around, you're outside the dugout, and you're like, the group's, who's in the dugout? Jerry? Jerry's talking? He hadn't talked all year, you know? So it was a weird scene, and to have that be the end of the season was, you know, certainly surprising. It's one way to do it, you know. I think, I don't know, you know, the reasoning for that, or the reason why they wouldn't have ended the season. Maybe because they don't want to address, Jerry's job, the season, last year, this upcoming off season. I don't know. And I don't know why they wouldn't want to do that, but clearly they don't. And so those answers and what they got from Jerry was it.
And it is interesting. They still haven't formally addressed.
Right. Is he back?
Is he coming back? I mean, I think you.
He talked like he was.
He talks like he is. There's no indication that he's not coming back, but there has been, to this date on Thursday, October 3rd, no confirmation on the Seattle Times reporting that he is coming back. Divish alluded to that there's going to be something coming out soon.
I hope so.
I would assume it's from MLB.com, MLB.com from Daniel Kramer. So,
right.
I would expect to see that here shortly, probably confirming that he is coming back. But I here's the thing: I'd like to know.
Sure.
How many years is Dan Wilson going to be the manager for? Did you give him a 2-year contract? Can we clarify that it's not an interim tag, that he is the manager heading in to next season? How many people are back on his staff? I mean, there's just a lot of
good questions
that you could have answered. And I think whether it's John Stanton or somebody else from the ownership group stands up there and goes in a legitimate question. And it doesn't have to be mean-spirited.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have to be there, and Jim Moore doesn't have to be there.
To be fun if he was,
be snarky, just a legitimate question of, hey, why do you think Jerry Dipoto and his staff deserves a 10th year? And just let him spell it out. Let's hear it from him. Now, there's going to be a segment of the fan base that's going to just not want to hear any of it, and I get that. But I would like to hear the rationale behind it, what the thinking behind it. I mean, I think I know what the answer is, but it doesn't appear we're going to get that. I want to circle back to the long-winded question, okay? When he's in there, because you brought it up, where we're talking about JP and there'll be a lot of people in the infield won't be around, where he said, yeah, we're close, outfield is set, but we've got to improve, obviously, infield. And I'm thinking, close? Third base, second base, first base, DH / backup catcher. That's half the positions on your team. And I'm thinking, I don't know if that's close, but right? I mean, they clearly
a good way to look at it. Yeah.
I mean, they're going to upgrade, or they should, in those positions.
Right. I think he was saying they were close as in, playoff team. He was very, he made sure to point out that they have 4 winning seasons in a row and that they're in a good spot. They're close. They're close, Puck.
Yeah.
They just need to figure out how to get a little bit better. That's what he said. So it's the longest streak in franchise history, 4 straight winning seasons. Meanwhile, the Yankees just celebrated their 32nd winning season in a row.
Is it really?
Yes.
32?
32 in a row. And the Mariners have 4. But they're in a good spot.
Okay, I get that. But those 4 years has produced 1 playoff appearance.
True.
So it's like, I guess I'd ask them, like,
yeah, that's a great question.
What do you value? Is it just winning seasons? Let's get to 88 and just miss the playoffs? Is that more? Because there's a soundbite from, and I stumbled across this from John Stanton back in spring training. It was actually with Paul Sylvie and King 5, and he was like,
good old Sylvie.
Good old Sylvie.
Good old Sylvie.
No one fills out a suit like Sylvie, does he? No one.
Just stretches it out. Yeah,
stretches it.
Love it.
Hasn't missed an arm day. And I bet you goes around the office and tells everybody he hasn't missed an arm day.
Exactly. Legs, I'm not sure about. But legs does not miss an arm day.
I haven't seen the legs. Next time I'm going to go.
That's what I'm saying.
I see him.
I don't know. Yeah. I think he was a kicker, right? So maybe he wants to debunk the whole. I think he was a kicker in high school, maybe even college. But he wants to be like, hey, I'm an athlete. I'm not just a kicker.
Oh, yeah, look at me. I wouldn't screw around with Sylvie. If I'm Egan, I'm watching my back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. He would take Egan. Sorry.
Stanton said, no, that's fine. Stanton said back in spring training where, we don't want to be the Royals. And I'm thinking,
what's wrong with the Royals?
He goes, his point was when they went the back-to-back the World Series appearances and then they won it, that followed with 6 or 7 straight losing seasons before this year. And I'm like, do you think anybody in their fan base is like, well, you know what? I think I'd rather trade those 2 World Series appearances and a win and the parade we had. So for the last 6-7 years, we could just win 87-ish games, maybe get in the playoffs, but most likely not.
Of course not. Of course not.
So
of course not. I think that they value that stability and like that winning seasons more than going all in. You know, they talked about it this season, right? With the free agents. We're not going to go for the big free agents. So that's not our model. We kind of operate right here, Puck. We're not going to try to shoot for the moon. We're just, because a lot of times that doesn't work, and that is true. But just right here, steady wins the race. Sometimes make the playoffs. Just kind of be there, but be successful and be profitable. Let's be honest, be profitable and have a really good farm system, you know, and they're in a great position if they were to go all in as far as have money to spend and prospects to trade. They're in a great spot. I mean, they can do whatever they want this offseason, right? Stand pat, improve a little bit, try to improve a lot. You know, it's just kind of their business model and what they want to do. And then we'll see what that is. But you're right; they've got holes to fill. They got bullpen arms to fill as well. So they'll be active. It'll be interesting, right? Well, I'd like to see them not get a guy on the downside, the downslope of the career. You know, we've seen that too many times at second, and Pollock and LaStella. I mean, let's not do that.
Colton Wong and Jesse Winkers. What I don't want is we get into spring training and we're talking to you and. You got a sunburn and all that down in
got
Peoria.
A tea in my ear.
Tea in your ear.
What do you got?
Cocktail. I don't want to hear, well, if.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear if.
Yeah.
Well,
if he bounces back from injury.
Yeah, I just don't want that.
If he is as good as he was in 2018.
Yeah, no more ifs.
No, I agree with you.
No, it's the
you want to get, especially if you make
of record.
Yeah, especially if you make a trade. Like if you really trade one of these pitchers, I mean, it cannot be for this guy, you know, as a top prospect, this guy should hit in the big leagues. No, it's got to be for bona fide players who produce.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got to factor in, I wonder what it would be when you factor in T-Mobile Park, like hitters coming here. We know the numbers aren't good, but like, do you say if somebody's like a 30 homer guy, he's going to be a 20 homer guy here? You know, I mean, you've got to take out 10, 15% of their offense. When you go out and get a guy, you can't say he's going to, like Pete Alonso's not going to hit 40 here. He is not.
No, yeah.
You know, I mean, talk to the guys just Saturday and Sunday about next year in off season. And they're just like, you know, it's just hard to hit here. People have to understand you can't try to homer here. It's different mentality. And they have to get hitters who understand that. That's going to be the key, Puck. If you bring in these hitters, bring in guys who, like the Royals, put the ball in play, right? Gap to gap, speed, run. That's the kind of player you need. You know, the roster, you can't have aging sluggers.
Felt like
they
kind of were going there.
Right.
Here in the last part of the season under Dan and Edgar.
Right. With Robles leading off, Julio finally getting the ball and putting it in play. Yeah. I mean, that's the look. Those last 5 weeks were fantastic.
Yeah, Robles is a perfect leadoff hitter.
Yes.
Perfect.
I mean, I don't know if he can hit 450 for the whole season.
No,
but he might.
No, but what he's going to do is he's going to get on base, and that's the beauty of him. Is once he gets, it's old school. It's just chaos.
It's bunt. It's chaos. It's wild pitch.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you're right. But they need more of that. You know, if you can get a second baseman like that, if you could get a third base, you know, I'm not opposed to bringing Rojas back. You know, I thought he did a really nice job defensively at third. I don't think, you know, he can be your starter.
I agree defensively, but I don't think the money. I mean, he's going to go to arbitration and get like $4 million.
That would be
I don't
tough.
know. I mean, he offensively. I mean, that's a power position. You need power there. You need offense.
Nothing at first or third, I know.
Yeah.
And then we'd love to have Turner back, but again, there's not a lot of power there. But I think just him being able to help others would be enough for me to bring JT back in a limited role like we saw.
I get that, a limited role, but you know what? If he wants to come back and be a coach, let him be a coach. I mean, I get all the JT love, and he's meant a lot to the team, but you need more. I mean, he's 40 years old. They've got to find someone way more productive offensively than Justin Turner.
True. And Rayleigh will play some first, I think, next year. He had a nice season. I like him, what he can bring. He's probably not an everyday first baseman, but
he's a good player to have on your team.
Exactly.
He's a good baseball player.
Exactly.
Do you think ownership you think fans have lost the trust in ownership?
They were down a little bit. I think I read where they're down like 5% attendance this year. Still 2.5 million, so they still did a nice job.
You look at the last weekend, and you would think if any time maybe a fan base would be like, you know what, we've had enough.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't the case against Oakland.
Friday, 33 and like 40
plus on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, they came out. And I get it. People love baseball. It's the end of the year. It's Oakland and all that.
Last game, right?
But sometimes
giveaways, fireworks,
giveaways.
I think the hardcore fans, the ones who really care about wins and losses, as opposed to just rooting on the hometown team.
Yeah.
I think the hardcore fans are disappointed, as they should be. We talked about reasons why. I think that they're kind of resigned to this is kind of the way the Mariners operate, right? I mean, they're not going to
that's
be in the Juan Soto sweepstakes.
That's where I am.
This is kind of what they do. Yeah.
No.
So, I think it's successful in their eyes.
No.
And, they do. I mean, the last 4 years, they've been in it to the last week. Right? And they've qualified once and a couple times eliminated last weekend. This year they're eliminated in game 158. So, I mean, they're close, as Jerry said, they're close.
What if John Stanton did that interview with Jude and Divish, he did it back in June, and then they released some quotes, some different quotes that came out this week. He just said, and again, I don't know how the majority of Mariner fans take this, but he just in the question about free agents, he just said, it's not a matter of money. It's not our strategy to go out and get them.
Right.
And I think there's going to be there's going to be a lot of people that see that or read that and go, that doesn't add up. Why would you not want good players? And they alluded in the article to the Robinson Cano scar. And now maybe Stanton was talking about players of a certain age that they don't want to hand out contracts to. And I do understand that when some of these guys get to an age that you don't want to hand out all this money to. But I would go back to Cano for a second and go, it wasn't a failure.
No.
Robinson Cano was not a failure free agency-wise. He wasn't.
Mm-mm.
He delivered. Now he got popped at the end, but he delivered.
Right.
And they also spent money, was it the year before that or after that, on Nelson Cruz, and he delivered.
He was the best free agent signing ever. Yeah. 4 years. I think maybe they don't like the 10-year deal. I mean, Cano deal and all the 10-year deals they're never going to work just because of the age and the production. You hope for 5 or 6, right? And that's what Cano gave you, right?
Yeah. And then you got out of it.
I mean, and then you got out of it. That was a brilliant move to dump. I mean, you got nothing back for it, but you dumped the salary and you had to trade Diaz, but you got out of it. And so, I agree with you. I think it's more of the length, and I think a Soto is going to be a 10-year thing.
Well, that would be a guy you would give it to, though.
Yeah, because he's still young enough. You're right.
But clearly they're not in on that. But
no, but anybody close to 30, it's just hard, to give a long-term deal to. I get that, but at some point I mean, fans, it's great for us because it's not our money, so we don't care.
Correct.
Go spend money. Who cares, right?
We love to spend other people's money. It's a great tradition.
Yeah. So for us to say, just go bump payroll by 30, 40 million. If you get to 200 million payroll, I mean, now we're talking, right? Now we can afford some real players.
Cooking.
Right. But, then that, their model, I guess it wouldn't make sense for them to do that.
I look at the team that they share a facility with. And the Padres, top 10 in payroll since 2021. Now, they dipped this year, but it's $171 million. And they've been to the postseason 3 times. They've been to the NLCS. I mean, this idea that if you spend money that it doesn't win, that it doesn't correlate. I think over time, the teams that spend the most money are for the most part at the end of the season the teams that are going to be there. Look at the Mets for a second. The Mets spent, so much money.
And they were terrible.
Terrible. And but they got in, and who knows what's going to happen. But this idea that it's a failure to do that. I mean, if you have the money, why wouldn't you? If you're Stephen Cohen or one of these other guys that have the money, go out and spend it.
Well, and the Mets, since I forget the date, some June or July, like best record in baseball, but they got off to a terrible start. But didn't get into the very last day, and now look at them. You're right. Going back to the Padres, I mean, the owner passed away, so they're kind of, rallying around that and trying to do it for him. And you're right. He spent money, and it wasn't always smart, right? It didn't always work, right? They haven't been to a World Series, but they're in that place. Set an attendance record yesterday, over 47,000. I mean, it is rocking.
Well, the Dodgers are spending all this money. You would say it hasn't worked for them? They won a World Series in a COVID year. That really, honestly, to me, doesn't count.
Yeah,
it doesn't count for me because it's not a full season.
But you're right. They haven't won. But you're right. But they go their expectations is World Series. I mean, they're a little different than we are. And hey, can we get somebody like Shohei to pay just $2 million a year? Like that's
is
a
it
good
$2
deal.
million? Is it just? I think it's just $1 million.
I thought it was 2. Either way, like wow. But go back to the Padres. I'm sorry. So Padres. My point was owner willing to spend. Clearly not interested in making money because the attendance is great there, but their TV deal is like the worst. They make zero money on TV.
Right.
Zero.
And they're under the Bally thing. They were getting screwed. Okay.
Yes, and so zero from TV.
And it's not like the San Diego market is some hotbed metropolitan.
Right.
I mean, it's not Seattle.
Decent size, like 27, I think it is.
It's not Seattle 12 with Microsoft and Amazon and all these Fortune 500 companies in it.
No. Only game in town, which helps. But you're right. It's not a hotbed. So, I mean, they've got a really good thing going on, and they're willing to go all in because they know they have to, right, with the Dodgers in the division, kind of like the Mariners and the Astros. Yeah. It's like, if we're going to pass the Astros, man, we got to get some players. I mean, now that we've got the pitching to beat them, now we got to get some bats and figure that out, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Do you still do you have like a Padres tattoo? Did you grow up being a Padres fan?
No.
You didn't? Okay.
No, I got to LA area when I was 14, so a freshman in high school.
So Dodgers
went to some games and stuff. I mean, I liked them; they were fine. No, and then Padres down to school.
When you went to school,
they're still at the old Murph, Jack Murphy Stadium.
Murph.
Yeah,
go back to the Murph.
Yeah,
let's go back.
We'd go
not
there.
That crappy ballpark you're in now. Let's go back to the Murph
stuff
with the football lines on it. Let's go.
Yeah, I think we'd get in for like $2-3.
Probably
students, it was great. Sit in the bleachers and just have a good time.
Hey, as we wrap up, and we'll visit during the off season. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Don't rely just on Divish to get your baseball fix.
I won't. I'll
make
bug
up
you.
some stuff. Yeah,
that's what we need. That's this is the makeup stats and information show of record.
Yeah, don't fact check us.
Oh, please don't. There's so many errors on this show. Not you, just the show. The show in general. What I think people would love to know this. I mean, what's the future for you guys? What's the future of Root? What's the future of you and everyone that works there? The people that we see every night. Angie and Jen and Bill and everyone that works in front of the camera, and also the people behind the camera.
Well, that's a good question. We are still sorting out some things, so we're still kind of waiting and hoping and kind of, knocking on wood that things are good for us next year. I just want to believe they are. I kind of manifest that. I just say that they're good. But I think, hopefully the Mariners will do the right thing by me and by us, hopefully by them too, right? And that we'll all be back, as is next year. So that's the hope. That's what I'm going to believe, Puck, until told otherwise. But I feel confident, and I hope that we're all back and all ready to roll next year.
It's got to be tough, though.
It's not great, but again, I just believe that the right thing is going to happen. Yeah. My wife's a little bit more freaked out than I am. Every day, every call I get, anytime it's something, is that work? Did it tell you something? Is there news? And then I'm like, no. And then Puck, I get this. Are you hiding something? That's my favorite.
Well, yes.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, not this. I mean, hiding other things. Don't go in the basement closet,
by
the way.
Closet, yeah.
Well, I hope it all works out. I really do.
I
think uncertainty in what any line of work that someone does is not a good feeling. It can
but I've
lead
got
to restless nights.
Yes, but I've got this, right, Puck? I mean, I've got
Oh, you've got Puck Sports.
You can
hear this is making so much money right now. You are good. We'll just
pretty soon it comes down to the guests. Is that what it is? The money flows on down.
It just flows on down. You can't. We're swimming in money here. Just
So good. I've got that as a fallback.
Yeah, that's why at night I walk up and down Aurora.
I don't think you can do that anymore, can you? Are there new laws?
You wanna come on over here one day? New laws? Jeez, I just went up to the Home Depot on 125th. No, where did I go? Up by 145th. I mean, Jesus, Night of the Living Dead.
Okay.
And here's the thing: you can't make eye contact. It doesn't matter. Second,
you're
just looking around. You look over and like, hey, honey, no, I'm good. No, do not walk over. I am good. No, thank you.
Not happening. Sorry.
And my son pops up. Daddy, what's that?
What does she want, Dad?
That is a prostitute, son. What does she do?
Anything you want.
Whatever you like. All right. These have been fun.
Love it.
I'm going to miss it, but we will check in during the offseason.
I hope so.
And I mean, my God, it's October 3rd. We're gonna a blink of an eye. It's gonna be Peoria spring training, and we will all convince ourselves.
Yes, that this is the year.
I
love this roster, Puck.
Did you see
these guys
who they got at second base? I mean, he's coming off Tommy John, but I'm telling you, if he's healthy,
if he can get back to 2019, his numbers then.
If he can get back to 2013, that is a Gold Glove second baseman. Brad, you're the best. Thank you for always doing it.
You bet, man.
Brad
Thank
Adam,
you.
all brought to you by John Howie Steak. Entertain your next clients, family, and friends at John Howie Steak. Have the best dining experience in the city. Visit johnhowiesteak.com. Hey, John, he's coming.
I'm coming.
Friday?
Actually, we have to go Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
Saturday.
I'm going to send.
Come on.
I'm sending Howie a note. Hey, he's coming Saturday. Take care of Mr. Brad Adam.
Anniversary.
Anniversary. You can find these everywhere up on later on YouTube. Listen to them on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. And, of course, always up at pucksports.com. We'll talk to you soon, Brad.
You got it. Thank you, brother.